Hello everyone. Today I'm going to go over your English assignment from your textbook. On page 108 and 109, you have some tasks that go over prefixes. I know we've learned about prefixes already and you're quite familiar with them, but we have some new ones here that I want to go over before you start working on these tasks, A, B on 108 and A, B, and C on 109. Okay, so on page 108 first, we have prefixes non and miss. And remember that a prefix is a group of letters added to the beginning of a word. When you add a prefix to a word, you change the meaning of the word. So prefix doesn't by itself really mean, it has a meaning, but it doesn't really, it's never used by itself. A prefix is always attached to a word, and it's always at the beginning of the word, not at the end. Remember, suffix is at the end, but a prefix is always at the beginning. And it does change the meaning of the word when you add it. All right, so the first prefix is none, and none means not or opposite of. And in these exercises, you're also going to learn about something called a hyphen. And in your top tip, you have an explanation of what a hyphen is. It says sometimes when we add a prefix to a word, we sometimes need to add a hyphen. And hyphen is just a simple short line that's added between the prefix and the root word. Okay, so for instance, none, the prefix none plus the root word stick equals none hyphen stick. But when we read it, we don't say the word hyphen. We say non-stick. But that short line over there is a hyphen. So when you say the word hyphen, the PH actually makes the F sound. So it's not hyphen, it's hyphen. Okay? So sometimes you might see a word written with that hyphen between the prefix and the root word. And sometimes you might not. So it kind of depends on whether it's British English or American English. Sometimes they don't write the words exactly the same way. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples here. First is anti. I'm sorry, I skipped ahead a little bit. Let's go back over here. We have none, and we have the hyphen and stick. Okay, so when we have none and stick, we get non-stick. Okay, we have another one here with the hyphen, non and stop, and it's non-stop. So something doesn't ever stop. So we can say that the prefix non means not. Okay, here's a couple of other ones. Non in plus sense, you get nonsense. There's no hyphen between these root word and this prefix. It's written all together. Nonsense. Okay, non plus fiction, non-fiction. Sometimes you might see non-fiction written with the hyphen, and that's correct also. Okay, now let's move on to miss. The prefix miss means wrong. So when you have the prefix miss plus behave, you get misbehave. So the meaning of the word changes. And miss plus understand, you get misunderstand. That means you don't understand anymore. So miss means wrong or false. So something's not right, it's false. Okay, and then on the next page, 109, we have a couple of other prefixes. We have anti or anti, co, and ex. And they all have different meanings. I'm sorry. And the first one is anti. When we have anti, or I say anti rather, plus social, when we add those together, we get antisocial. So someone who is a very sociable person, somebody who enjoys being around other people. when you add the prefix anti in front of it, you get antisocial, and that's usually someone who prefers to be by him or herself more. And anti plus biotic, when we add them together, we get antibiotic, which is a medicine you might get from the doctor when you're very sick. So the prefix anti means against. Okay, our next prefix is co. Co plus worker, you get coworker. And that is usually a person you work with. For example, all the TIS teachers at TIS are my co-workers because I work with them. And here's another good example of a prefix and a root word where we have a hyphen in the middle. We don't say co-hyphen worker, we just read it co-worker. But when we write it, we need to try to remember to add the hyphen in the middle. Then we have a co plus pilot, and we get co-pilot. Okay, so the prefix co means joint or together. Joint or together. Then our last prefix is x. X plus president, you get ex-president. Here's another hyphen word, ex and president. You get a hyphen in the middle. X plus terminate, we get exterminate. So the prefix x means out of or out from. All right, so these are the new prefixes that you're going to practice today on pages 108 and 109. Remember, prefix is a group of letters, and they are always at the beginning of the root word. And when they are added to a word, it changes the meaning of the word. So complete A and B on 108, A, B, and C on 109. All right, well, I will see you tomorrow, Zoom lesson at 10 o'clock Thursday. Have a nice day, boys and girls.